Hi everybody, and welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn and I'm here to ramble about books. So first off, I must apologize. I made this exact video early last week and thought it had uploaded and posted, and apparently it had not. So I had been going along happy, I'll just post another video this week. No. So I'm redoing it, and that is part of the reason I have been absent for the last week. Another reason is I had a extremely long take-home statistics midterm that I literally was doing every day for the last week. I just turned it in this afternoon, and my brain was a little bit broken, so I spent the day watching a season and a half of A Different World, which they just put on Netflix. I probably would have watched more, but my eyes started hurting. So anyway, this video that I'm redoing is my top owned authors. So most people do 10 or 15, but due to the very small size of our apartment, I have been forced to streamline my book keeping and book collecting and book buying strategies and habits. So a lot of authors I would have tons more of, but I just haven't had the room. Now that I have another bookcase, I may be able to buy some more of the ones I want. We shall see. But anyway, that's all of that is to say that I have 6 authors who I'm constantly buying books from. Well, at least 5 of them I am. And they make up my top 6 owned authors. So I'll just get started. So coming in at number 6 with 11 books, including 1 duplicate, is J.K. Rowling, of course. We have the entire series, Harry Potter series, plus The Beetle the Bard, and the 2 Hogwarts textbooks, and we have we have the 6th book, but have Half-Blood Prince in both hardback and paperback. I don't know why it's the only one that happened with, but it is. And of course, my favorite of the bunch is Order of the Phoenix. It's been a while since I've reread the series, so that may change when I reread them, but up until then, my favorite is the Order of the Phoenix. Okay, coming in also with 11, but no duplicates, is Terry Pratchett, also with 11. This one is Mort from the Discworld series, and Mort is Death. And Death in the Discworld series is one of the best characters ever created in the history of the world. He is one of my top 5 favorite characters of all time. And the books that feature Death are my absolute favorites of the Discworld. I do also have Good Omens that he wrote with Neil Gaiman, of course. And then I also have the Long Earth series, 3 of those, and then the 4th one should be coming out this year. And I wanted to make a tribute video to Sir Terry when he passed, but I just could not bring myself to do it because I really do form unnatural attachments to authors that I love, and I was just overwhelmed when he died. So even though we knew it was coming, you're never prepared. So goodbye, Sir Terry, you will be missed. Okay, so coming in at number, what am I on, 4? Yeah, I'm on 4. That would be, oh crap, Anne Rice. Sorry, my notes are over here, if that's what you're wondering about, in my handy dandy moleskin, as usual. So Anne Rice comes in at number 4 with 14 books, and I probably, she has, of course, way more books than this, but I did not purchase the Jesus books. I did read the first one. I wasn't all that thrilled with it, so I didn't bother to read the rest or buy them. And I also did not read her werewolf book. I love Anne, but I have no desire to read about werewolves. I don't own the things that she wrote as Anne Roquelaire, not because I don't like them, but just because I don't own them. I really want to get copies of the Sleeping Beauty trilogy, because she has written a 4th book to that is coming out this year. I can't remember the name of this, Beauties something, and I want to read that, and they're brilliant. But these are 2 of my favorites of hers. This is Violin. This is a standalone novel that has nothing to do with the Vampire Chronicles, Violin, and it is a beautiful book, and this is the only one I've ever listened to an audiobook of because I just really wanted to hear this book out loud. And if you read it, you will know why. It's supernatural, it has to do with a ghost, and it's just gorgeous. And then the other one is my favorite of the Vampire Chronicles thus far, considering the fact that she is still writing him again. But this is Memnoch the Devil. This is the fifth, I think. Is it fourth? No, it's fifth. It's the fifth book in the series. And Lestat runs into someone who claims to be the devil, and he has this long conversation with, and they talk about the beginning of the world and all kinds of fabulous things, and it's just brilliant. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, coming in at number 3 with 15 is Lee Goldberg, and although I like Lee Goldberg, I'm not a huge fan of his other work, but the reason I have so many of his is because I have the entirety of the Monk series, or at least the ones that he wrote. So this is the 15th. This is the final book that he wrote. There are a couple more Monk books that were written by someone else, and I really didn't want to read them after they changed authors. Lee Goldberg worked on the show, and he knew the character extremely well, and while the other authors may do a good job, I just really had no desire to read them. And you know, I have OCD. I don't know if I've ever said that on here before, but I do have obsessive compulsive disorder. I've shown symptoms of it since a very small child. And, you know, in the OCD community, opinions on Monk are very split. People either really like it or they hate it. And I'm one of the ones that thinks it's a wonderful representation of someone with an extremely severe case of OCD. And I think that Tony Shalhoub did an excellent job with it, and I really enjoyed the show. Not only because it was just a well-written show, and it was funny, and it was good, and you got to love the characters, but just because it was an excellent portrayal. And I think that when you put that in opposition to things like Monica on Friends and how they portrayed that, I think it's a much healthier portrayal of, not necessarily healthier, but a much more accurate portrayal. And maybe I'll make a whole video about OCD in books, because I have several memoirs of OCD people, or people with OCD that I just love a lot. I don't think I own copies of most of them anymore, unfortunately, but anyway, that was all to say that I have 15 Monk books by Lee Goldberg with no duplicates. Okay, then coming in at number 2, also with 15, Stephen King. I honestly thought I'd have the most of him, but I think I got rid of a few of his. So these are my two favorite Stephen King novels. This is The Dark Half and It. And even though It was a used copy when I bought it, you can tell it is well loved. Creepy clown, right? This is packing tape. The back is just being held together only by packing tape. But I'll tell you, these Signet editions have been read about 1 billion times. They're taped together, but the binding is holding lovely. I mean, it's all of my, I think, all of my older editions of Stephen King, and I'm looking up because he's on the very top of my second bookshelf. They are holding up brilliantly, so good job, Signet. And coming in at number 1 with 23 and 2 duplicates, but still far outstripping anyone else, is Sharon McCrum. And I have talked about Sharon McCrum on here a few times with her Appalachian novels, and this is the first one of hers I ever read. It is not actually the first ballad novel, so if you want to start this series, don't start with this one. Start back with If Ever I Return, Pretty Peggy O, but I love this. It has Nora Bonesteel, who is my favorite Sharon McCrum character. And then I also have this series. It's a duology, and it's Bimbos of the Death Sun and Zombies of the Gene Pool, and it's just mysteries. Not Appalachian ballad novels or anything, but it's about, the first one is about this physics professor who comes up with this idea. I don't know if it's a theory or just an idea, but he writes about it and he can't get it published, so he writes it as a sci-fi novel called Bimbos of the Death Sun. And it's so great because all through the book they talk, and I just dropped that right on the floor, talk about how horrible the cover is, and I really wish I had, because they put out a cover of this with the terrible cover that they describe in the book. The Zombies of the Gene Pool, we do have that edition, and it's just awesome. So these are wonderful. You should absolutely read them. They're really short, really quick reads. You should be able to find used copies, probably new copies too, but go out and read these. These are so good. And then the second one takes place, no, the first one takes place at a sci-fi con. And she's not making fun of the culture. She once was a part of the culture. So she's doing a service here. It's wonderful. And that is all. That is my top 6 most owned authors. And what authors do you own the most of? Let me know below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.